The valley moved like a sleeping song, soft, slow, waiting to be sung awake. A silver stream twirled between mossy stones, humming quietly beneath the morning hush. Petals unfold slowly, touched by morning dew as the flowers quietly wake. Fireflies blinked gently, remnants of nighttime melody fading into day. And as the sun rose like a conductor's baton, the valley stirred, tuned for magic. High above it all, cradled by a willow's branch, sat Aria, a small lavender bird with a silent dream. She watched the world come alive with music she couldn't yet join. All around her, birds sang, a flurry of color and song, but Aria remained still. Her eyes sparkled with longing, but doubt kept her wings folded, her beak closed. She opened her beak slightly, a whisper of courage met only by silence. She turned away, heart sinking back into quiet. Then clouds began to gather, slow and creeping, pulling darkness over light. The valley dimmed, color faded, sound vanished. Flowers closed in on themselves, petals hushed, hope tucked deep inside. The stream that once sang now only reflected stillness. Even the fireflies let go of their flicker, dimming one by one. Birdsong ceased, the breeze faded, silence claimed the valley. Aria gripped the branch with quiet tension. Something was wrong, deeper than fear. She looked across the still world, not with fear anymore, but with purpose. With a breath, she edged forward. The branch trembled beneath her tiny foot. Her wings lifted slightly, as if remembering what they were meant for. She paused at the edge, air pressed against her feathers. Then she leapt. She soared low, wings outstretched, gliding through a valley stripped of its sound. Below stood the old oak, its branches heavy, its body quiet under the morning clouds. Aria landed gently at its base, breath steady, eyes searching. One mighty branch bent down, not in call, but in welcome. Something stirred within her, new, ancient, familiar. She turned upward, toward the mountains blanketed in rising mist. She flew. Past fading trees, past the stillness, past the valley's edge. On a rocky path stood a goat, gray and still, a golden bell draped around his neck. Aria landed beside him. The goat lowered his head, his stillness carved from sorrow. Then he moved. One step, one chime. A bell sang, the faintest spark of memory set free. Together they walked forward. The music grew with every step. Ahead, storm clouds swirled, gathering without rain, a sky humming with something unsaid. From the center, a presence, vast, misty, faceless, the Cloud Keeper. Aria faced the misty figure, wings spread gently, heart open. She stood firm upon the rock, wings drawn close, but not to challenge it. She closed her eyes, not in fear, but in deep, steady listening. The world grew still, even the clouds seemed to hold their breath. She opened her beak and let her voice rise. Quiet, barely a trace, but it was hers. The mist trembled as the sound met sky. A ripple moved through the storm. The Cloud Keeper stood silent. Her song continued, fragile at first, then firmer. It wasn't loud, it wasn't perfect, it was honest. The air shifted, the mist softened, the valley began to hear again. Far below, a bell answered, the goat's heart awakening to song. The oak tree lifted its weary branches, remembering light. From petal to root, the flowers began to bloom again, slowly, boldly. The stream stirred, its melody returning in rippling motion. Fireflies reappeared, one, then two, then dozens, blinking in awe. Clouds parted slightly, soft rain fell, a gentle washing of silence. The cloud keeper lowered its form, its glowing eyes faint with peace. And as it bowed, it shimmered into morning light. Before her small, honest song, the mighty keeper surrendered as darkness turned to gentle rain. The cloud keeper knelt before courage, tears falling as silver notes. Arya turned, wind beneath her wings, hope guiding her home. She flew quickly now, not away from fear, but toward her place in the song. The willow stood waiting, animals gathered below in quiet awe. She landed at the tree's heart, not hiding, but radiant. She took a breath that filled the sky. And then she truly sang. This time her song soared, confident, unafraid, unforgettable. She sang with every feather, every breath, every heartbeat. The goat raised his head, golden bell joined the echo. The oak lent its voice as well, rustling leaves, rooted strength. Each note she gave returned brighter, bolder, alive. The stream sang freely, remembering the joy of its own reflection. Even the fireflies blinked in rhythm, twinkling like stars made of sound. Her song wasn't just heard, it was felt. And in that moment, the valley awakened as courage stirred the morning air. In her eyes blazed victory, not of might, but truth. As her small voice found its truth, others found hope. Friends gathered in awe, each heart touched by her gentle truth. The valley glowed with music's light, as if dawn itself had learned to sing. Her melody rose higher, dancing with the clouds. In this moment, she was infinite, a small heart holding light. Together they swayed to hope's return, a celebration of spirit. Nature joined her symphony, weaving light with her song. The valley had remembered something precious, itself. Not because sound returned, but because bravery did. In giving herself a voice, Arya gave others theirs. And from that day forward, the valley never truly fell silent again. Because when the quiet find their voice, they help the world find its song. They remind us that silence is never the end. It's only the pause before we begin to sing.